Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Monday again. It is Monday, October the 6th. We're here to look at the new releases that are published this week, and on Mondays we look at cozy mysteries. Once again, there's a lot of them. There's about 44 of them. So we will get to it. Elena says, good morning. Good morning. How you doing? She said she just finished her book, Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. Yay! Congratulations! Woo! Good job. And she says she is good. Good to hear. And tomorrow is my last day of my program for PathPoint, and then moving on to something else, like going to another program. Well, that sounds like a graduation. Happy graduation. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Monday nights. Our next sprints are tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2 hours. Bring your own book. Close your eyes and listen to the ambiance, whatever it is that is your self-care. First up, published this week, is The Right Way to Die by Beth Prentice, first in the Murder by the Book mysteries. A writing retreat, a famous author, a deadly fall. Aspiring novelist Aubrey Jackson never expected her big break to be wrapped in crime scene tape. Invited to an exclusive writers' retreat hosted by the legendary author Willow Fox, Aubrey was excited to sharpen her plot twists and finally finish her first book. But when Willow is found dead, pushed from a third-story window, the peaceful getaway turns into a real-life investigation. With a retreat full of suspects and the police pointing the finger at one of her best friends, Aubrey's instincts kick in. After all, she's read enough murder mysteries to know this wasn't an accident, so with her writer buddies Ellie and Spencer by her side, she sets out to find the killer. Good morning, Mary. Welcome back. Happy Monday. She's back from Scotland and had a marvelous time. A gorgeous country and people. Now the jet lag isn't so much fun, but will end eventually. Did you see any Jamies? And Elena says good morning to Mary. Miss Winter in the Library with a Knife by Martin Edwards. 6 down on their luck people with links to the world of crime writing have been invited to play a game this Christmas by the mysterious Midwinter Trust. The challenge seems simple but exciting. Solve the murder of a fictional crime writer in a remote but wonderfully atmospheric village in North Yorkshire to win a prize that will change your fortunes for good. 6 members of staff from the Shadowy Trust are there to make sure everyone plays fair. The contestants have been meticulously vetted, but you can never be too careful. With the village about to be cut off by a snowstorm, everyone needs to be extra vigilant. Midwinter can play tricks on people's minds. The game is set, but playing fair isn't on everyone's Christmas list. Murder at Holly House by Denzel Merrick, first in the Frank Grasby series. And Emily says, hi everyone, hello. She's out of town, that's right, for the wedding. How'd the wedding go? Going to gas up the car, check out a coffee place that Cajun's coworker suggested, and then make my way home so I could unpack and get groceries and then relax and recover, I bet. And she says, and do laundry before work tomorrow. That's always the thing. And Mary says, many, many Jamies. So many handsome young men and all so nice. I tried to talk several into coming back with me, but no go. Well, darn it. No standing stones work for me. Well, darn it. At least you saw some. And I'm sure they spoke just beautifully. Let's see. A Village of Secrets, Yorkshire, 1952. Christmas is fast approaching when a dead stranger is found lodged up the chimney of Holly House in a snow-covered village of Elderby. Is he a simple thief or a would-be killer? A mystery that can't be solved. Inspector Frank Grasby is ordered to investigate, but as is often the way for him, things don't go according to plan. When the local doctor's husband is murdered, Grasby begins to realize that everyone in Elderby is hiding something, and if he can't uncover the truth soon, the whole country will pay a dreadful price. Murder Most Haunted by Emma Mason. On her last day as a detective, Midge McGowan is given the retirement present from hell, a ticket to a haunted house tour. Thanks, guys. She'll have to spend a weekend ghost hunting in an isolated mansion with a group of misfits, including a know-it-all paranormal investigator and a has-been pop star. The guests soon realize that the house has a mind of its own, and that they might not be the only ones there. An eerie figure appears on the property, and then the unthinkable happens. Someone is murdered in a room that's been locked from the inside. When a blizzard cuts the group off from help, the house's own dark secrets begin to surface, and Midge can't shake the creeping sense that they are walking into a nightmare. Could a ghost really be responsible, or is the culprit one of the guests, who have somehow impossibly endeared themselves to Midge? End of row 1. Bookem Eddie by Lori Cass, 13th in the Bookmobile Cat Mysteries. Emily says, Father, the groom had medical emergency. Oh no! I hope he's okay. Mary says, oh, that is too bad, Emily. Hope he's all right now. Sounds like you had a good time at the wedding. I have the same chores as you. Unpack and laundry. Ah, the real world reestablishes itself again. Very true. The Chilson Library Bookmobile has a new stop on its route, Honey Hollow Adult Foster Care. When Minnie learns that Honey Hollow is just down the road from an enclave of gorgeous Victorian homes, she decides she has to take a look, especially after she learns about identical houses that stood side by side and were owned by twin siblings. That's usually what twins are. But when Minnie and Eddie and the bookmobile take their scenic detour, Eddie uncharacteristically escapes from the bookmobile and finds a woman in the woods horribly wounded with an arrow. Though Minnie desperately calls 911, all too soon she realizes she was too late. The police seem ready to call the death a hunting accident, but Minnie can't shake the feeling that foul play has been involved, particularly when the woman's final whispered words. With evidence lacking, Minnie and Eddie will have to claw their way through a thicket of suspects to find the truth. Antiques Roundup by Barbara Allen, 19th in the Trash and Treasures Mysteries series. Spring, the season of hope, possibilities, and an opportunity for Brandy Bourne and her mother Vivian to replenish their trash and treasure shop. With Western antiques in demand, Vivian, true crime author, amateur sleuth, ropes Brandy, reluctant Watson to her mother's Sherlock, into hitting the trail for Tranquility, Texas, where a citywide yard sale awaits. That's what Keo says. Sorry, he has a hairball, apparently. After a journey filled with one calamity after another, Vivian makes a horseback call on a local banker for a prearranged sale, only to find him dead with his boots on. Even though she gets tossed temporarily in the hoosegow, this is not Vivian's first rodeo, and soon she and partner Brandy are riding herd on a stampede of suspects, ranging from unhappy heirs to a chicken rancher to assorted dealers in Western antiques. The tenderfoot duo must face deceit and danger and risk cashing in their chips if they are to round up a deadly outlaw or two, or return to their cozy shop in Serenity, Iowa, not to mention Brandy's Shih Tzu sidekick, Sushi, alive. Alive. Murder in the Graveyard by lots of authors. Is this an anthology? It's an anthology. Take a look. We're going to be moving on. How did that sneak in there? Poison and Pooches by Sandra Balzo. First in the Dog Sitting Mysteries. Introducing Ariel Kingston, dog sitter, amateur sleuth, and owner of a guest house with a body under the floorboards. Lucky dog sitter Ariel Mays Kingston has inherited property in Monterey, California, but the novelty of being a first-time homeowner is short-lived due to a noxious termite fumigation in the guest house and the discovery of a body under the floorboards. Foul play seems most likely, but who was the victim? And why would the killer stash the body under the guest house? Determined to put her observational skills to good use, and with her first doggy client, the adorable Monty, by her side, Ariel must overcome neighborly tensions, unravel mysterious disturbances, and mop up canine misdemeanors as she attempts to sniff out a killer. End of that row. Kyo. Emily says, I don't know how he's doing now, but it wasn't a heart attack or stroke, so that's good. Maybe it was just the stress. He saw the bill. People are going to make that joke. I'm so sorry. Mockingbird Court by Juno Black, 6th in the Shady Hollow Mysteries. It is a crisp, cool autumn in Shady Hollow, and preparations are underway for the annual Harvest Festival. Creatures have flocked from far and wide to partake in the seasonal festivities, from pumpkin carving to pie tasting to soup throwing. With all these new faces around town, it's the perfect time for someone to slip in unnoticed. Unless that someone is Bradley Marvel, the most famous author and the most noticeable personality in any woodland warren. It seems the wolf is on the lam. Back in the city, a body was found in his penthouse apartment in Mockingbird Court, and Marvel skipped town before the questioning could commence. Marvel claims to be innocent, and it's up to Vera and her friends to piece together what might have happened that fateful night so many miles away in the beating heart of the big city. But things get complicated when Vera learns that she also knows the victim and might even be implicated herself. And keep in mind, these are all talking animals. These are animals behaving like humans. The Christmas Market Murder by Peter Boland, 6th in the Charity Shop Detective Agency series. November in Southbourne should be all twinkly lights and festive cheer, but Fiona, Daisy, and Partial Sue, the retired trio who run Dogs Need Nice Homes charity shop, have little to celebrate. What with the elusive Southbourne stalker prowling the streets of their sleepy seaside town, they're in need of a little seasonal magic. The new Christmas market seems the perfect tonic. Fairy lights in the pines, the scent of cinnamon on the air, and mugs of steaming mulled wine, until a desperate scream shatters the calm. Postmaster Scott Preston is trying to break into a locked cabin. His father's inside and in terrible trouble. By the time the door is forced, it's too late. His father is dead. The police say he took his own life, but Scott can't believe that's true. His dad was many things, but tidy wasn't one of them, and the stall is suspiciously spotless. Someone had a good clear-up before making their getaway. Now the ladies must unwrap a mystery naughtier than a string of Christmas lights before someone else ends up 6 feet under the mistletoe. I think I feel a sneeze coming on. Forewarning. Death Rides the Desert by Sarah Bourgeois, 1st in the Haunted Ranch Mysteries. Claire Caudel's life is in ruins. Fired from her corporate job and dumped by her boyfriend, she drives to Arizona to settle her great-aunt's estate, planning to sell the ranch and slink back to Chicago. But Whispering Saguaro Ranch has other plans. First comes the fox, a peculiar creature with copper fur and knowing eyes that leaves gifts on her doorstep. Then come the ghosts, translucent cowboys in her barn, a woman making tamales in her kitchen who's been dead since 1985. They've been waiting for her because Claire hasn't inherited more than land and livestock. She's inherited the ability to see the dead. Well, I would hope so. When the most hated man in Perdido Springs dies on her property and the sheriff dismisses it as an accident, only Claire can find the truth. Someone in this peaceful desert town is a killer, and in a place where the victim threatened half the population's livelihoods, everyone's a suspect. Only a mystical fox, a house full of chatty spirits, and the ruggedly handsome veterinarian who tends her animals on her side. Claire must solve a murder nobody wants solved before she becomes the next ghost haunting Whispering Saguaro Ranch. Simon Brett has a new one, 10th in the Mrs. Pargeter crime mystery series. Mrs. Pargeter's Past is the title. Mrs. Pargeter's friends know two important details about her marriage to her late husband. First, that it was blissfully happy, and second, that Mr. Pargeter was not a man to bring his work home with him. So while the chance of her ever being asked by the police what he did for a living is naturally remote, Mrs. Pargeter be able to would be able to reply in all honesty that she doesn't know. What she does know is that Mr. Pargeter's former associates are all respectful members of society, and if they were ever criminals, they are now 100% reformed. Right. So when she learns that Shorthead Shimmings, her late husband's former accountant, has fallen on hard times, she springs into action, checkbook at the ready. But Shorthead has borrowed from the wrong people, and the infamous Batinga brothers aren't out for his money, they're out for blood. The only way to save Shorthead is to dismantle their criminal empire. But how can the highly law-abiding Mrs. Pargeter, whose only weapons are her charm, her quick wits, and her little black book of Mr. Pargeter's contacts, hope to do such an impossible thing? End of that row. Mary says, love that name for accountant. Yeah, I trust an accountant named that. And all her husband, her late husband's work was above board. Bake Shop at Holiday Bay by Kathy Daly, second in the Bake Shop at Holiday Bay series. Event planner Piper Fairchild is back, and this time she's taking on her biggest job yet, organizing the annual masquerade ball at the legendary Breckenridge Estate, a seaside mansion steeped in nearly 200 years of history and ghost stories. Piper doesn't believe in haunted tales until she sees something she can't explain. As she juggles mysterious sightings, spooky secrets, and her desire to make the ball a career-defining success, she finds herself pulled deeper into the heart of Holiday Bay and the lives of the people she's grown to love. Add in her loyal pup Penelope, her bake shop bestie Paisley, and her ever-charming courtyard crew, and you've got another heartwarming and spine-tingling adventure by the sea. A Perfectly Haunted Library by Nix Hallowell. When Katniss, I wonder who she's named after, Katniss Inglenook inherits her eccentric aunt's Victorian library just days before Halloween. She expects creaky floors, dusty books, and maybe a few nosy neighbors. But she doesn't expect a ghostly librarian, a litter of mischievous clue-hunting kittens, or murder. The library itself is sentient, offering up books and resources exactly when she needs them. With the help of her feline sidekicks and the resident ghost, Katniss must unravel a tangle of cryptic messages about a long-lost manuscript that led to murder and survive long enough to uncover the truth, because someone in Briarwood would kill to keep the past buried. Sinister Seance by Amanda M. Lee, 6th in the Luna Thorne Witchy Mysteries. 20 years ago, teenager Bree Watson had the world at her fingertips. The only thing she was worried about was which Grimlock brothers she had the biggest crush on. Then, in a moment of confusion, while playing with a Ouija board, she disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to her. Her parents were cleared of suspicion. The girls with her that night didn't have any answers. She was just gone, and now she's back. Luna Thorne knows something is very wrong with what happened. Bree went somewhere for 20 years, but she came back looking the same and claiming no time had passed. It's a miracle, and yet Luna isn't celebrating with everybody else. Where did Bree go? Was she lost in time? It seems Detroit's new traveler is on deck to figure it out. If that wasn't enough, her mother is hanging around Grimlock Manor looking for quality time with her daughter, and she doesn't seem to be in a hurry to leave. Months ago, Luna's life was simple. Now things are spiraling. The only question is just how bad things can get. Can Luna figure out what happened to Bree before the evil that returned with her takes over the city? Don't play with those things. I mean, seriously, don't play with those things. Witch to Tell by Paula Lester, 6th in the Superior Bay Witch Doctor Mysteries. With her wedding only days away, veterinarian witch Willow Morgan should be worrying about seating charts, not suspects. But when her perfectionist caterer turns up dead in a suspicious accident, Willow's dream celebration becomes a full-blown crime scene. Now her fiancé, Officer Crosby Patterson, is stuck investigating a murder that's way too close to home, and Willow's Aunt Drew insists the victim's irresistible I was going to say irresponsible. Irresistible recipes were boosted by forbidden hedge witch magic. Between rival caterers, shady herb suppliers, and a journalist determined to expose Superior Bay's supernatural secrets, it's up to Willow and her talking animal sidekicks to untangle a recipe for murder before her wedding plans go up in smoke. End of that row. Elena is saying goodbye. See you Friday and Saturday. Good to see you. She says, she gives us our tagline. We'll do that in a second. And Mary says, bye, Elena. Have a great day. Giving Up the Ghost by Marilyn. Oops, we're about to run out of time anyway. So everybody remember, we ended on the wedding. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eh, pretty usual. We got through 16 of 44. We'll fit them in as the week goes, but definitely we'll be covering them on Friday. See, Elena knew what was going on. So again, I don't have any sprints tonight. Our next sprints are tomorrow night, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2 hours. We've cut back from the 2.5. We're just doing the 2 hours now. And on Wednesday, we'll look at the darker side of mysteries. We'll be looking at crime fiction and thrillers, and then if there's time we'll do some more of the cozies, but for sure on Friday we'll look at the rest of the cozies. Hope you guys have a good Monday. Thanks so much for watching. Be safe out there, you guys. Good luck with your laundry. Take some breaks sometimes. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.